Hey there, everybody. Welcome. This is GleeCon again, continuing our journey on the lore of Warcraft. This is the second chapter, and this is the discovery of Azeroth. I feel like Azeroth was already discovered by some evil forces, so perhaps this is the discovery of Azeroth by the forces of good. Let's find out. Meanwhile, in the depths of the great dark beyond, Agramar continued his quest to eradicate all signs of demonic influence. His battles led him from one world to another, from one demon-beset civilization to the next. Though Agramar bore the full weight of this task alone, his resolve never wavered. He believed with all his heart that Sargeras would one day return and see that the Pantheon's cause was right. It was during his long and lonely journeys that Agramar sensed something extraordinary, the tranquil dreams of a slumbering world soul billowing across the cosmos. The song of life led him to a world that the Pantheon had not yet discovered, a world they would later name Azeroth. Nestled within the world's core was one of Agramar's kin, one far more powerful than any yet encountered. The spirit was so mighty that Agramar sensed its dreams even through the din of activity that rattled across the world's surface. Yet as Agramar drew closer to Azeroth and beheld the world, horror seized him. Void energies shrouded the world's surface like a layer of diseased flesh. From the ruined landscape rose the old gods and their black empire. Miraculously, the nascent Titan's spirit remained uncorrupted, but Agramar knew it was only a matter of time before it succumbed to the void. Agramar sought counsel with the rest of the Pantheon, informing them of his discovery. Clearly, this was proof that Sargeras had been right about the Void Lords and their plans. Agramar urged the other Titans to take action with all due haste before Azeroth was lost forever. Eonar was quick to champion Agramar's cause. She compelled the other Pantheon members to think of the world's potential. If brought to maturity, this new Titan could exceed even Sargeras' considerable might, she argued. Indeed, it could become their greatest warrior, one capable of neutralizing the Void Lords once and for all. But more than that, Azeroth was one of them, a lost and vulnerable member of their family. The Pantheon could not abandon their own sibling to the clutches of the Void Lords. Eonar's words stirred the hearts of the rest of the Pantheon. They unanimously agreed to save Azeroth no matter the cost. Agramar formulated a bold plan of attack. All members of the Pantheon would travel to Azeroth and purge the Black Empire that had claimed it. They would not, however, take action directly. Due to their colossal forms, Agramar feared the Pantheon would irreparably damage or even kill the World Soul. Instead, he proposed creating mighty constructs act as the Pantheon's hands and prosecute their will against the Black Empire. Under the guidance of the great forger Khaz'goroth, the Pantheon crafted an army of enormous servants from the crust of Azeroth itself, the aesir and the vanir. The aesir were fashioned from metal, and they would command the powers of storms. The vanir were formed from stone, and they would hold sway over the earth. Collectively, these mighty creatures would be known as the Titan Forged. The members of the Pantheon imbued a number of their servants with their specific likenesses and powers to lead the rest of the Titan Forged. These empowered beings were called the Keepers. Though they would develop their own personalities in time, they would forever after bear the mark and abilities of their makers. Aman'Thul gifted some of his vast abilities to High Keeper Ra and Keeper Odin. Khaz'goroth bestowed his mastery over the earth and forging to Keeper Arcadus. Golganeth granted Keepers Thorim and Hodir dominion over the storms and skies. Eonar gave Keeper Freya command over Azeroth's flora and fauna. Norgannon lent a portion of his intellect and mastery of magic to Keepers Loken and Mimiron. Lastly, Agramar imparted his strength and courage to Keeper Tyr, who would become the greatest warrior of the Titan Forged. With this new army molded from the world's crust, the Pantheon went to war. The time to shatter the Black Empire and free Azeroth from its malign influence had come. This is neat. We're getting a lot of things we've heard about before, so let's just scroll back. So we have, like we predicted, The Titans have now discovered this. They want to get involved. The rest of the Pantheon agrees. And they go, except they say, hey, we can't bring ourselves on there. We're all too big. So we're going to make our own kind of representative army. And they kind of create their avatars. And that's where it gets cool. Because you see, first of all, a couple more races, although these are more constructs. They're races in the same way that the elementals are sort of races. The aesir and the vanir. Both of these we've heard of in, wow, they're sort of some golem looking things, some of them, and they have, the aesir, like they say, are kind of storm constructs, and then we have some sort of more traditional golems in the banner. That there's a Titan forged, and definitely I can picture some things, especially in Northrend and stuff. I can picture some cool things. Maybe some Uldum, Ulduar, whichever one. I always get those two confused. That dungeon that's in Classic. And then we have the specific keepers, which I'm picturing some of the things in, like in the Ungoro crater and stuff like that. We have High Keeper Ra, which maybe Amonthul, that's in the last episode. I couldn't remember the main one. Amonthul, I think, is the main one. We have Ra, which that sounds really familiar. I don't know if he stays good. Odin, we've definitely seen Odin. He's all throughout, even in Shadowlands, he makes an appearance. Arcadus, that's probably there. I can't remember anything with him. Thorim seems familiar. Hodir. Those kind of sound familiar. Freya, definitely, all throughout some of the life ones, at Ungoro Crater and some of these other ones, maybe even the Barons, how it got redone. Definitely Freya is a big one. Loken and Mimiron sound familiar, so these guys, I'm guessing, are going to reappear. And Tyr, definitely. Tyr's hand's named after him, maybe kind of like a predecessor to the Paladins and stuff. Very cool. As we get the sort of the Pantheon representatives, so we have the actual Pantheon is like next level, big picture, but this is the actual kind of gods or demigods of Azeroth that will work on the side of good for the most part. Very cool, and I know we're going to be getting to conflict very soon between this guys and the Black Empire in one of these next episodes, so stay tuned, and as always, appreciate you listening. See ya.